Hi, everybody. Welcome to English Digest. I'm Tom.
Hi, I'm Stephanie.
It's our health unit for today, and we're going to be talking about a mental condition called depression. Now, this could refer to clinical depression in which you do and definitely have something wrong with you, and you need to have proper therapy, maybe psychotherapy or some medication or something like that. There's another kind of depression in which we just generally feel sad because bad things happen. Maybe we lost our job, our pet dog died, we broke a fingernail or something like that, and then we get really sad about those things. I think they're kind of not the same thing.
Well, they're not. Some people can have a bad day and then bounce back, or maybe even a bad month or 2 months or a year. If someone passes away in your family, you can be sad and down for quite a while. But there are people here, and Tom used the term clinical depression, which means there's nothing they can do about it. They can't tell themselves, oh, just, cheer up. You'll be fine. There's something in their body, probably in their brain, that's not functioning correctly, and they really are depressed, and there's nothing that they can do or that people outside them can do to help them unless they go to a doctor who specializes in helping people with clinical depression.
Absolutely. So in the next couple of days, we'll be talking about this. We're not psychologists ourselves, but we are going to try to offer some advice from the pen of our writer here. So hopefully it might help out some people who are suffering from depression, or it actually might help you improve your English listening ability. So let's get to it, everybody. Let's read the entire contents of today's lesson one time. In life, everyone goes through ups and downs. Indeed, it's common to feel temporarily frustrated when encountering defeat. If bad feelings linger on for weeks or months, however, it's possible you could be suffering from depression. Depression is a mental illness that affects over 350 million people worldwide. It destroys people's productivity at work and school and disrupts their relationships with family and friends. In some cases, it may even drive people to suicide. Even the most severe depression can be treatable if the person suffering from it is able to receive help. Unfortunately, recognizing the symptoms of depression can be a difficult task. In many cases, depressed people behave similarly to someone who is going through a hard time in life. Still, there are definite signs that indicate someone is truly depressed. For starters, take notice if someone's low mood becomes persistent and lasts for over 2 weeks. Depressed people will also become less interested in hobbies and activities they once enjoyed. In addition, signs of increased fatigue and changes in a person's appetite may also be indications that someone is depressed. If someone starts expressing deep feelings of guilt and worthlessness or contemplating suicide, it is time to get them professional help. Since every case of depression is different, there is no standard treatment for it. Medications such as antidepressants can help sufferers control their moods by making chemical changes in the brain. Psychotherapy is another powerful option. Psychiatrists can offer a different perspective on life that helps patients feel better about themselves and deal with the daily stresses of life. In many situations, a combination of these treatments is used to treat depression.
So the title of today's article is Dealing with Depression. If you deal with something, you handle it. How can you handle what can be very debilitating? If something's debilitating, it almost makes you unable to get out there, to live a life that you want to. Maybe it's almost like you're injured in some way. So we're going to talk about depression. Most people don't see it, though, because your body looks fine. People can't see within your mind. I know when I first moved here, and actually years ago when I lived in Taiwan, depression was something that people didn't want to talk about. It was embarrassing. That was true in America, too, years and years ago. Nowadays, people are more open about saying, I'm dealing with depression. I see a doctor. I have a good friend who takes medicine every day for it. So it's not something to shy away from. If you are feeling depressed a lot, I would definitely go and see a doctor. So let's go ahead and start with this first paragraph.
Yep, depression, that's a state, of course, of feeling sad all the time, and we'll talk about that in the first paragraph. So it introduces us to this topic. It says, in life, while we're living our lives, everyone goes through ups and downs. Of course, there are ups and downs in life, the happy times, the sad times. Of course, you can always count on the terrible, of course, because you're going to die in the end. But, you don't have to think that way all the time. There are happy moments in life as well.
Oh, yeah.
Indeed, it's common to feel temporarily frustrated when encountering defeat. So you can feel this way temporarily. That means for a short period of time. It's not going to last for a long period of time. I'm temporarily unemployed right now. I just lost my job. They were letting people go. They were cutting back and stuff like that. So I'm temporarily unemployed. I'm looking for a job. I'll find one soon.
And when you encounter something, it means you run into it. Perhaps you weren't expecting to. It was an unexpected encounter, you could say. So you face something or you have to experience something. It could be something difficult, and depression is something difficult. So you might feel a little down if you don't do well on a test, or maybe your boyfriend decided to dump you and move on to someone else. These are things that can be temporary in your life, temporary periods of sadness, but we're talking about a long-term depression, which is something that you definitely need to go and see a professional about. So if bad feelings linger, if something lingers, it just hangs around for a long time. Some smells are so bad, they linger in the air, and it's hard to get rid of them. For example, if a skunk, that animal that is able to spray a really stinky smell at you to protect himself, if it hits you or stays in the air, it's horrible. You've got to throw away your clothes. So linger just means you hang around or stay in a place longer than is usually expected or necessary. Maybe you have friends who come to parties that you throw and they linger a little too long. You can't get rid of them.
That's right, indeed. The smell of a skunk can linger for a long time. Skunk, I happen to know that it's cho-yo in Chinese. They're kind of cute little animals with a white streak down their backs. That's a great name for them, yeah. But don't make them mad or they'll spray you with that stinky stuff.
It's bad.
You can't get rid of that smell. It will linger for a long time. And, okay, so if these feelings of depression or melancholy or feelings of being bummed out last or linger for weeks or months, however, it's possible you could be suffering from depression. So, yes, don't rule that out. Depression is a mental illness that affects quite a lot of people. It affects over 350 million people worldwide. We could also say that over 350 million people suffer from depression worldwide. That just means all over the world. I guess there are no exceptions, except probably in some of the happier countries in the world, maybe in Scandinavia or something. They have fewer cases of depression there, whereas they have more of them in more violent countries like Syria or Iraq. You can't blame them, of course, but basically the point is depression is everywhere.
Yeah, it's all around the world, or as we're using the term here, worldwide. So it destroys people's productivity at work. You don't get as much done if you're depressed. It's hard to focus. It's even sometimes so hard to get out of bed that you don't even go to your job or school. So it does destroy the productivity of people suffering from depression, and it also disrupts their relationships with family and friends. If you're depressed, you don't want to be around anybody else. So you probably cancel a lot of activities that you'd plan to do with your friends or a boyfriend, girlfriend, or if you're married, it affects your relationship there too. If you disrupt something, you do something to stop the progress of whatever you're talking about. Sometimes you might be working hard at work, but you've got a coworker that is always asking questions because they don't know how to do something and they disrupt your work, or they're interrupting you from some sort of activity or some sort of process that you're trying to accomplish.
I did want to say the word productivity can be pronounced productivity or productivity. Both pronunciations are correct. And yes, this particular affliction can disrupt your relationships with family and friends. And in some cases, it may even drive people to suicide. That makes sense. If you're depressed, of course, sometimes the only way out is to do yourself in, to off yourself, to commit suicide. Of course, we hope you don't do that. But unfortunately, though, people are driven to suicide, which means they basically are forced to choose this option. They don't see any other way out.
Right. So let's go down to the next paragraph. Even the most severe depression can be treatable if the person suffering from it is able to get some help. Now, severe is a word we use. It's an adjective where we want to say something is extremely bad. So it's not just a light case of depression or one day where you're feeling down or in the dumps or you're feeling blue. There are lots of expressions we use for people who are having a bad day, maybe even a bad year. But if it's treatable, it just means you can go to a doctor and get some help. Treatable, it just means some sort of treatment that a doctor would prescribe. Maybe it's drugs, but maybe it's just talking to a mental therapist, someone who listens to you and tries to help you with your thought process so you feel happier. But unfortunately, recognizing the symptoms of depression can be a difficult task. Symptoms are the things we talk about which let us know what sort of disease you have or maybe some sort of condition. The doctor will ask you, what symptoms are you experiencing? With a cold, it might be a runny nose. Maybe you're coughing a lot. Maybe you're sneezing a lot. Those are symptoms. They're not your disease, but those are the things that accompany some sort of condition or disease that let doctors know what you're suffering from.
Right, so maybe you have a family member that you suspect of suffering from depression, but you don't really know for sure. So you need to look for those symptoms, but finding those symptoms or recognizing them can be something difficult to do. Now, in many cases, depressed people behave similarly to someone who is going through a hard time in life. Okay, so basically, yes, sometimes there's really no difference between someone who's depressed and someone who's normal. And you might be quite surprised, I suppose, when, what's his name, Robin Williams, when he committed suicide. People thought, hey, we were totally surprised by that. He always seemed so cheerful all the time. We had no idea that he was going through this hard time and felt it necessary to commit suicide. But in any case, we'll continue talking about this in just a couple of seconds. It's time to take a break and listen to our Chinese teacher.Hi
everyone, my name is Jenny. 今天我们要看的是第3单元。好，我们来谈健康的议题。而今天呢，我们的主题是忧郁症。好，我们来看 depression。忧郁症呢，它的成因，好，它为什么，还有我们怎么预防？文章里面呢，当然有告诉我们，如果亲人得了忧郁症，我们应该怎么办呢？怎么帮忙呢？好，一开始就说了，当然人都会有情绪，有起伏，有高低。然后呢，他提到了我们人呢，在遇到了挫折的时候，感到暂时性的气馁，这其实还蛮常见的。好，我们继续往下读。当然，什么叫做忧郁症？如果有一个人他其实是连续好几周，连续好几个月还在这样的状况，那很有可能就是得了忧郁症。好，我们再注意一个地方，就是这个 could。It's possible you could be suffering from depression. 我们要知道，其实语气助动词基本上，有时候像看到 could， 它当然它可以表示可能性。那可是在英文里面呢，这几个语气助动词用在可能性的时候，那个可能的高低是不同的。如果你是说 it must be， 那肯定 95% 以上是如此。可是呢，当你用 can be， 那可能性就降低了。可是当你用 could 这个字， 并不是过去式，它在语气上又变得更客观，比 can 更为客观，所以我们要知道这个可能只是表示客观来说有可能是如此。好，那我们再看，当然忧郁症它可以影响到我们的生活，我们的人际关系，甚至于他还提到在某些案例里面它可能会逼人走上绝路。我们看到这一句话Even drive people to suicide. 这个 to suicide to 其实是一个介系词，要注意到 suicide 它是名词，那 drive 有逼迫的意思，逼人走上绝路，就是 drive someone to suicide. 好，再来往下面这一段里面呢，当然继续来谈要怎么办，如果忧郁症，他有朋友家人得了忧郁症，我们应该如何解决呢？好，我们等一下再来看一看。
We're going to take a quick break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back, guys. We're talking about dealing with depression. This is our health unit. We've already described that this sort of condition that people have to experience or go through, suffer, is pretty tough because it's something they can't just pull themselves out of. They actually need some professional help. We're not talking about those temporary periods of sadness or depression that you go through when you lose something or you don't do very well on something you had hoped to really do well on, like a test or some sort of competition. Here we're talking about people who have clinical depression. There's something within their bodies, particularly their brain, that is not quite right, and they need professional help to feel better. So when we left you, we were talking about how even the most severe depression can be treatable. People can get some help, but you have to first recognize the symptoms. And it's true, some people who are suffering from clinical depression, they don't always show everybody around them how they're feeling. Of course, if you have somebody who's not even wanting to get out of bed every day, that's a big sign there's something wrong.
Indeed. And of course, there are definite signs, things that are quite clear that indicate that they are truly depressed. For starters, or at the beginning to begin with, take notice if someone's low mood becomes persistent and lasts for over 2 weeks. So at the very beginning, when you're trying to determine or ascertain whether someone is depressed, for starters, you can check their mood and see if it basically lasts for over 2 weeks. This is a bad mood, a low mood, and it's persistent. If something is persistent, that means it doesn't stop. It continues, and you just don't see it going away at any time. So yes, they have this low mood all the time. They're down in the dumps. They're feeling sad. They're bummed out all the time. And yeah, people feel bummed out. They feel sad for various reasons. Maybe they, fail a test or something, but usually they snap out of it. They usually recover, but we're looking for someone who is persistently in a low mood, and this is for starters. You look at this at the very beginning.
Now, depressed people also will become less interested in things they used to really enjoy before, like their hobbies or activities. Maybe they stop exercising, and before they really loved to jog or go to the gym or maybe play a pickup basketball game. None of this sounds interesting to them. If you're depressed, nothing sounds good to you. Even your favorite foods start tasting like, nothing. So it's tough, but you've got to watch out for some of these signs, or as we're calling them here, symptoms. In addition, signs of increased fatigue and changes in a person's appetite may also be indications that someone is depressed. Now, if you are suffering from fatigue, that's extreme tiredness. Wow, you're exhausted. And when you're depressed, you probably aren't sleeping very well. and you just feel like you have no energy. A change in a person's appetite may work two different ways. They could start eating more food. I had an aunt who actually kind of ate herself to death. She was so depressed. And then sometimes people stop eating altogether and get very skinny. They don't care about eating. Nothing sounds good. And these are pretty obvious symptoms that people can see pretty clearly, so you need to step in and help.
And you never know if you're going to eat a lot or eat a little when you're depressed, so please don't think getting depressed is a way to lose weight, okay? It's a dumb idea. But in any case, you might feel fatigue, that's the noun here. You could also say, I feel so fatigued at that case. In that case, you need to add a D to that to feel fatigued. But here, you will have signs of increased fatigue and changes in your appetite. These are indications or things that will tell you something is the case. Now, if someone starts expressing deep feelings of guilt and worthlessness or contemplating suicide, it is time to get them professional help. I suppose at this point, you should be happy that they're actually expressing these things. Feelings of guilt. Oh, I feel so guilty because I did that thing. It caused harm to somebody else. Or worthlessness. I just don't feel worth anything. I have no contribution to this society. Why am I here? And then you contemplate or consider suicide. If they actually express these feelings, then you think, I think this is a time for them to actually go get some professional help. And I think 健保给付.
Yeah, so since every case of depression is different, it's true, there is no standard treatment for it. It's up to a doctor or a mental health expert or professional to decide what's best for the patient. Medication, which just refers to medicine or pills, some sort of medication or medicine like antidepressants can help sufferers control their moods. Sometimes these antidepressants or antidepressants, they're both correct pronunciations, actually make things worse. So it really is dependent upon the doctor to decide what's going to help best. So that's just one type of medicine or medication they can take. Sometimes it can help control their moods. I know some patients don't like to take antidepressants because it takes away their highs as well as their lows. So they never feel really excited, but then they don't feel really low either. And some of the patients miss feeling kind of excited every once in a while. So, but that's one sort of treatment method that they can attempt to do.
Okay, so that's psychotherapy. When you get together with people, it's another powerful option or choice that you might have. And people who do psychotherapy, I guess, could either be psychologists or psychiatrists.
Right.
A psychiatrist is actually a medical doctor who is trained to prescribe medicine and stuff like that. So, yes, you'd probably need to talk to a psychiatrist if you want to get some antidepressants. But psychiatrists can offer a different perspective on life, a different point of view on life that helps patients feel better about themselves and deal with the daily stresses of life. Sometimes it's just very beneficial to actually talk about these things with somebody, and hopefully they can understand where you're coming from.
That's right. So you've got different choices, different options. We use option and choice interchangeably. So it's nice to have different options or choices. But again, it's best to go see a doctor. If you're going down the psychotherapy route or road, it might take a couple of different doctors to decide, or for you to decide which one you can relate to better, which one you feel more comfortable talking to. You know, people are people. We kind of relate to some people better than others. So you might want to try different therapists before you give up on that particular treatment method. Medicine, of course, is something you can try. Sometimes just taking medicine for a short period will do it, and sometimes you're on that medicine for the rest of your life, depending on what your condition is. So psychiatrists, those are the MDs. Tom just explained the difference between a psychologist, which is a PhD, and a psychiatrist, which is an MD. They can offer different viewpoints, perspectives. You kind of talk through things with them, and they can listen to you and then understand where you're coming from and can help patients feel better about themselves that way, and then deal with the daily stresses of life. I mentioned a friend earlier that takes medicine every day for her depression, but she also goes and talks to a psychologist as well who helps her understand what she's going through and how to tackle life a little better. Life is hard for everyone, but it's especially difficult for people who are already battling depression.Absolutely.
And, of course, you need to get the right medication. I had a roommate once who had some medication, and he said it was the wrong pill for him, and he really had a horrible night. He said, boy, I'll never take those pills again. I can only imagine the kind of hell he went through taking those pills. He later got some better medication, so hopefully he's doing well. I haven't seen him in a long time. But in any case, we're coming up to the end of the program, but indeed a combination of these treatments is used to treat depression.Talking to a psychiatrist or a psychologist and getting some medication. So if indeed you are suffering from depression, we hope you get help and we hope you can overcome your sickness. Okay, that brings us to the end of our lesson for today. Time now to hear from our Chinese teacher.
OK， 我们刚刚说到得了忧郁症的人，我们更应该要怎么帮忙他呢？好，后面我们看到他这里就写说，其实一开始，首先我们看到这个片语 for starters， 这个 for starters 是我们一个比较不会用到，但是应该要学会的一个片语。因为当我们在讲一个过程也好，在举例说明也好，谈到第一点、第二点，一开始怎么样？好，记住 for starters 就是其中的一个用法，就相当于很简单的 first of all。首先呢，他就说了 take notice， 这又是另外一个片语，他表示要注意哦。注意什么呢？假如有人的心情一直持续低落，然后超过2个礼拜，那可能就表示他基本上有忧郁症的现象。好，再来呢，当然他还说，所以接下来还有个 in addition， 然后他又提到了，其实有忧郁症的人，他呢也会表现出来的是，有一种深深的罪恶感，一种没有用的感觉，好像自己是一个没有用的人，或者是打算要自杀，那这就表示应该帮他们找专业的帮助。看到这句话，这个时候就该要寻求专业上的协助了。It is time to get them professional help. It is time 这个片语我们常见，其实跟中文也蛮接近的，就是该做什么的时候了，是该怎么样的时候了。而这个It is time to 当然后面就是加动词，有时候你看到一个变化的句型，如果是 It is time that 加 that 子句，那就要注意到文法上这个 that 子句里面会出现假设语气的这种句构，换句话说该怎么样，可是实际上你并没有这样做。好，不过这边是比较简单的不定词句型。接下来呢，最后这边下一段说到了，因为每一个忧郁症的案例都不一样，所以也没有所谓的标准化的治疗法。当然有些人是借用药物来帮忙，然后控制他的心情。那还有别的吗？有些不是吃药的，他是寻求心理治疗。这里有一个字 psychotherapy， 我们看到这个标前面的 psycho 这个字根，它都跟心理有关，所以后面还有一个字是提到 psychiatrist， 这是精神科的医师。这2个字的字首很显然都是一样，跟心理有关。 OK， 好，我们今天的讲解就到这边为止，我们下次见。
Thanks for joining us, guys. We've got one more day to talk about depression and how to deal with it more effectively. We hope you'll join us then. You may not be dealing with depression yourself, but enough people are that there's someone within your circle that probably is. So it's nice to know a little bit more about how to deal with it or how to handle it. For English Digest, I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Tom. Goodbye.
Bye.